Hi, I'm hoping that you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable working with the ICE Core data after having completed part one yesterday in your class or today in your class. What I want to talk about right now is how to work on a Mac with Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. Specifically, what I'm hoping that you'll be able to do by the end of this tutorial is to, first of all, apply a formula, which really is just making a simple calculation based on data that are in your spreadsheet. And then once you've done that, and it turns out that for this activity, only if you're in the paleo temperature group will you be creating a formula. But then once you actually have that data ready to go, and for those of you who are working with CO2 and CH4, you will not have to make a formula in this activity. However, all of you will have to make a graph, and you will have to modify it within Excel. And this is just simply adjusting the axes a little bit, changing the axis labels, and then you're also going to be doing some really simple drawing right on your graph. And then you'll export it and interpret it. And what I'm hoping is that by the time you're done with this, you'll have a really nice graph that you can work with. And so when you complete part two, after Asmara Lehrman's talk about sediment cores tomorrow, you will be all set to go.
All right, I'm going to spend some time now getting you familiar with what you're going to be doing in part two, which will take place, as I mentioned, after Asmara Lehrman's sediment core presentation and discussion. Now, I only have part of the total data set shown here. You can see that this is just down to about 230 meters depth. You, depending on what data set you're going to be working with, may or may not be working with formulas, but I do want to make sure that you have a pretty good idea of how to create a formula if you need to. Now, here we have temperature, and you see that we do not have any paleo temperature shown because that temperature data depends on, and this delta D here, this is all about the isotopic ratio between oxygen 18 and 16. And there's a direct relationship between temperature, and here I'm going to start typing the formula. When I type that equal sign, I'm telling that cell that I'm about to make a calculation. And so it is now waiting for me to finish that formula. And you'll see on part two that you'll be given the formula that I'm typing in here. It starts out negative 55.5 plus, and then you put a parenthesis, and then here you tell it, I'm going to use this value to make a calculation. And so it is looking, here we are in cell E3 where the formula is being typed in. And I'm telling it to look to the left over here to D3. And so there is D3 plus 440, and then the other parenthesis divided by 6. So it's basically going to take, if let's say we're down here in row 6, once I copy this formula, you'll see this, it is going to look to the left. Up here in row 3, in cell E3, it is looking to the left. So it's looking to D3 to make that calculation. And so when I hit return, you should see a temperature in degrees Celsius. By the way, this is cold. That looks something like this. Now, the important thing is because of the way that we have typed this in, it is that D3, it is a relative look for Excel. So it's basically saying if you're in E3, it's looking to the left to D3 to make that calculation. So there are two ways that you can go ahead and copy this formula. One, you'll see there's a little tick mark there at the lower right-hand corner. I just click and drag, and that will copy that formula all the way down. And let me go ahead and click on one of the cells. So they're in row 8. Hopefully you see up above in your formula bar that D8 is where it is looking. If you keep moving on down, you'll see that it's D9, D10. So up here in the top in that formula bar, you can see that it will always look to the left. So that's one way that you can copy and paste a formula. Now, another way to do it is to select it and do a copy, just a shortcut, Control C, and then you select the cells where you want to copy it, and there's Control V, and it will do exactly the same thing. So those are two different ways that you can copy a formula. Now keep in mind though, you are going to be you're going to be dragging a long way down here because like I said, this is only about 10 rows of data that you're working with. Now, the good thing is once you have this done, if you're working with paleotemperature, you're now ready to go. The other two data sets are the CO2 and the CH4, and I'm just going to graph one of them. So I'm going to graph CO2 in this case. And what I'm going to do, because there is so much data, you could just select the data that you're working with here and then press Control and oops, sorry, and press Command. That's what it is, sorry. On Macs, it is Command. And you can see here by pressing the Command key, so I select this row, press the Command key down now, and now I can select a separate column of data. So you could drag it all the way down like that, but because you have so much data, it's easier just to go up here to where you see the C. So you take column C, click on it, press down the Command key, and press column F. And now it will graph everything in those two columns all the way down. So you don't have to click and drag all the way down. All right, so now that we've told Excel, okay, we're interested in those two rows, you make sure up here you're in the Insert tab. You go over and you select what looks like a little mini graph, and we are going to do just a simple XY scatter graph. And you can see here that what we've now created, and if you look closely, this is the really nice thing about Excel. In this exercise, you're going to need to know the values for different data points. And so if you click on that point, or don't click, you just hover over it, you are given the exact value in thousands of years and in parts per million by volume CO2. What we'd like to do, though, is to go ahead and put in, and I'm going to go up again, up into the, you see here, we're in the chart design, is what shows up when the chart is highlighted. We're going to add a chart element. We're going to go ahead and put in titles. We're going to put in the primary horizontal, and we're also going to put in the primary vertical. And then you can just double click on them. And I'm going to go ahead and label this one. So this is my CO2 value, and it's in parts per million by volume. So this is something you're going to do if you happen to be working with CO2. That would be exactly what you typed. And then down here on this axis, we're dealing with gas age, not ice age, but gas age, because we're worried about the age of the ice bubbles trapped in the ice. And this is in Ka, which is thousands of years. All right, so now we have a pretty nice looking graph. We have our values that are showing up there. And what's important when you look at these values is that you can now insert a new element. And if you go back to the Insert tab over here to the left and you click on the shapes, you can actually draw. So hopefully you saw what I just did. I just selected the arrow key. And so now on this, on our graph, whoops, that didn't work. Let's try that again. There we go. So now we can actually draw an arrow that tells us, that shows the trend in the data. Here it seems a little silly because it's a very clear, obvious trend. But what you'll notice when you graph all of your data is there are a lot of ups and downs. And so you're going to actually draw in all of those different trends right on your graph. And the cool part, once you have that graph done, you've drawn your arrows, you have your axes labeled, you're ready to go, what you can do is just simply right click on your mouse and copy, or command copy. And once you do that, now if you go into Microsoft Excel, and you'll be working in an Microsoft Word, that's where you're going to be typing in answers associated with this data. You can go ahead and paste your complete graph there, and that'll be something that you turn in. Now, so I've given you just a really brief overview, how to graph data, and how to label your axes, and how to do trends. So this should be plenty for what you need to do tomorrow, but keep in mind that you'll be working in your section. So if you have questions and you either do it through chat or through direct Zoom interactions, hopefully your answers, you will get your answers. And I guess that's about it. So good luck tomorrow and enjoy Asmara's talk.